Try to click it one more time.
It just showed on my screen. It said the stream is live.
Yeah, but it's not showing live on Facebook. It's only going to be showing live on YouTube.
Okay. Well, let's do YouTube.
Yeah, we're live. It's just not going to show. So I'm going to have to put let me just put the YouTube channel there. As Facebook is doing its thing again. Gonna have no choice. Yeah, it's definitely doing the thing again. Okay. Let me just share my channel there and then we'll. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and go proceed with it through the way we have it on, and I'm not gonna worry about it again. They keep doing this, and it's Facebook, so we are going to go ahead and proceed anyway. I bet try to give you all a couple of moments to come on into the YouTube channel while we open the way. Facebook is not speaking to StreamYard again for whatever reason. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. We're going to go ahead and get started with the opening of the way. For those of you who have been able to click on the link on YouTube, please stand with us in the pose of adoration facing north. Remember, as Hymnetter Intepi Jabari says, this is not theater. So please join us in opening the way. We're going to face the north, and we're going to stand in the pose of adoration. This is going to require that your left leg be slightly forward and your left hand be slightly forward. Right hand comes back just a little and bend it ever so slightly. We are going to take a deep breath, and we're going to chant the word of everlasting life, which is Ankh. Take your breath. Anetrak embed head.
Anetrak embed head.
Nuke embed head.
Nuke embed head.
Anetrak happy.
Anetrak happy.
Nuke happy. Tuawu enter. Turn to your right. Anetrak circuit.
Anetrak circuit.
Nuke circuit.
Nuke circuit.
Anetrak kepsanuf.
Anetrak kepsanuf.
Nuke kepsanuf.
Nuke kepsanuf.
Tuawu enter. Turn to your right. Anetrak ast.
Anetrak as.
Nuke ast.
Nuke as.
Anetrak amset.
Anetrak amset.
Nuke amset.
Nuke amset.
Tuawu enter. Turn to your right. Anetrak neat.
Anetrak neat.
Nuke neat.
Nuke neat.
Anetrak duamotef.
Anetrak duamotef.
Nuk Dwa Mutef. Tuau enter. To your right. Anetrak Nut.
Anetrak Nut.
Nuk Nut. Anetrak Geb. Nuk Geb. Tuau enter. Anetrak Shu. 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 Nuk Shu. Anetrak Tefnut. 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 Nuk Tefnut. Tuau enter. Anetrak Paut enteru. Nuk Paut enteru.
Nuk Paut enteru.
Anetrak Embu enteru.
Anetrak Embu enteru.
Nuk Embu enteru.
Nuk Embu enteru.
Tuau enter.
Tuau enter.
Take your breath. Tuau enter. Dua, 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 dua. All right, I bet. I'm hoping that you are all able to chime into our YouTube channel. I did post that on the page, so I think all you have to do is click the link before we get started into our Sabyt reading. We're going to just do a couple of things as we always do, starting with our flowers. Flowers here. First, we want to give thanks and honor and adoration to all the ancestors. As we just did in Bu and Teru, all of the Netaru. Thanks and honor to our elder, Baba Heru, Ankh Ray, Ra, Samaj Se Patah, out of the Shrine of Patah, who brought most of us into this, I wouldn't say knowledge and wisdom, but some of our rituals, and one of the eldest in the area to do it. Of course, our chief priest, Himneter and Tepi Jabari, and our elder here, Himneter Waziri, also giving thanks and honor to his queen, Sinet Terra. All of you for coming and joining us weekly as we do this. So we will have our Sabyt reading, but we're going to start with some prayers today. Number one, we want to give a special prayer to our Himneter Waziri here. He is dealing with the cold, although he looks very well. We also know that he has had a family member, his eldest cousin, make his transition. And we ask that the Netaru places him on that boat and gives him a swift journey into the Amenta. Dua, 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 and condolences to you and your family. Our heartfelt, sincerest condolences. Prior to us starting our Sabyt reading, excuse my pronunciation, I tend to stumble over my words when I'm speaking fast, trying to get it all out. Again, let me see, somebody is messaging. If any of you all are seeing this, please click that YouTube link. Click the YouTube. Sorry about that. Please forgive me. So we're going to start after we do our opening of the way. We give our flowers out, and before we get into the reading, I want to start something called setting the feather. What we're doing, and Himneter, you can still hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. We're gonna after we do that part, we're going to do something called setting the feather. Setting the feather. We're gonna speak a hekau, or you can think it. You can speak these words or put it in your own frame. This is to help us basically delve and be in tune with the readings that we are going to be doing and studying. So the hekau that I'm going to speak today as we set the feather, and at the end of our sessions, we'll balance the scale, so to speak. So I want to say that I awake in truth. I awake to live in truth. I align my heart, my mind, and my tongue with my eye. I breathe in Ma'at and I exhale Ifset. May the Neteru guide my tongue, my mind, and my thoughts as we read these sacred readings to you all as we come from a sincere place. May we always come with truth in our heart, truth in our mind, and truth in our words. Tuau Inter. Today's reading is going to be coming from Spirituality Before Religion. And I would like to place that banner there so you all can see exactly where we're reading from. All right, you can see it at the bottom. Spirituality Before Religions. Spirituality is Unseen Science. We're going to be starting on philosophy number 2. For some of you, this is going to be beginning on page 118. For those who are Kindle readers, it may begin around page 117. And this is what we are reading. Philosophy number 2, the essences of the essences Neteru of pre-existing order and arrangement. The second philosophy of the theology of cosmic origins is the essences of pre-existing order and arrangement. It connects to the first philosophy by explaining Atum, naming 4 pairs of male and female Neteru essences into being. The frogs were males and the snakes were females. Okay. The Kemetic scholars called them Neteru Nun, the uncreated creations. Living at rest in Nun, each principle, characteristic, and explanation emanated from Nun doubled as an essence netter. In the first philosophy, Nun had no name. That is why it is important for the Trinity to come into existence that would allow Atum to bring the Neteru Nun into being and giving Nun a name. While the Nun potentially contained the whole universe in gestation, Bata moved matter, creating Atum in order to call into existence eternal essences or pure ideas: water, heavens, infinity, light, darkness, the seen and the unseen. These ideas were not created, they always existed, but were inactive, potential, and unnamed matter, none. This naming ceremony brought these uncreated creations into being. These 8 characteristics of the cosmos are: number 1, none, or noon, some say, male. It's important to know that this none is the same none from the primate of the essences. Before the beginning began, none was nameless. However, once named, none took on the physical form of matter, water. None was where everything and all live. None was the original and ancient place of beginnings. He was the matter of the cosmic fact, as we say as a matter of fact. None represented the moisture of the rain and the wetness of all the rivers and oceans of water in the cosmic universe. He was the deluges and floods of eternal springs. Nunet, number 2, female, was the counter heavens. She was where the superclusters, clusters, and galaxies first appeared. The stars commenced to shine, and the air began to breathe. Nunet permitted the sky to be. So Nunet allowed the sky to be. Now number 3, Huh, which was male. Huh was infinity. He was countless, limitless, without boundaries, and sure to endure forever in immortality for eternity. Number 4, Huhet, which was female. She was destined to limit and be the boundaries for every and all things that would come to be in the cosmic universe. She could be counted, measured, and numbered. Number 5 is Kuk, which is male. Kuk was the unknown, the ignorant. He was the source from whence all light drew her strength. Kook was the sunless shadows of dark, unknown nights. That brings us to number 6, Kuket, which is female. That brought the glowing intelligence of the light of day into existence. From her perspective, the fiery rays of knowledge were created. Number 7, which was Amen, male, was the concealed one, invisible to the eye. He was named by Atun to remain unseen, unheard, and untouchable, without smell, without taste, but forever present. He is the spirit of science. That brings us to number 8, Eminet, which was female. Eminet was the revealed one, who could be seen by the eye through her all-seeing eye. The cosmic universe thinks, sees, hears, touches, smells, and tastes. It is through Eminet that human spirituality experiences her invisible mate. Amen, she is the science of his spirit. So as we can see with the 8, each of them have a counterpart. We're all familiar with that, with the balance. So it continues to say that these 4 pairs of frogs and snakes remain in the waters of noon. It appears that there were specific reasons why frogs and snakes were their representational heraldic emblems. Snakes metaphorically demonstrate the principle of resurrection. Snakes have the ability to shed their skin and start anew. Metaphorically, snakes appeared to have the attributes of coming back to life after death. Snakes' shedding of skin is called molting. Snakes molt several times a year because their outer skin wears out and they slither and slide over the ground, life's experiences. And as they grow larger, the attainment of eldership, when it's time to molt, the snake's color becomes dull as the worn-out skin separates from the lower layers and its eyes cloud over until it's almost blind. A new outer skin is already growing under the old. After a few days, the old skin splits and the snake wriggles out of it. The snake is now back to its proper color. She is bright, new spectacles over her eyes. The old skin is left behind like a past life, and she moves forward with a new skin towards her new resurrected life. Frogs symbolically describe metaphoresis. They are equally at home on land and in water. Frogs spend the first few weeks in their lives as legless fish-like tadpoles, which look nothing like a frog. But then it begins to change. The frog goes through the story of how life came to be. Frogs explain in about 14 weeks what it took nature to create the billions of years. The growing of legs shows the importance of life systems attaining mobility. The loss of the tail describes the dawn of humanity and the attainment of self-consciousness. The 8 essences, netters, plus Ptah and Atun, add up the number 10, an important mathematical base system in the world's base 10 numerical system. Philosophy 3, the essences of order and arrangement. This philosophy is an extension of the first and second philosophies, and it has its own respective characteristics, elements, atoms, and molecules. The story of the creation of life in the cosmos, and specifically on Earth, continued with Kepra. The netter symbolized by the dung beetle. We talk about that a lot. Kepra is the beetle who comes forth from the flood of Hapi, the Nile, and pushes a ball of dung before her. This ball contains the beetle's eggs. Under the rays of the sun, the eggs in this ball burst forth with new lives. As they generated themselves from the substances and forces of nature. Thus, Kepra is the symbol of the process of creation. Since literally thousands of these beetles emerged from these balls from fertile waters, The beetle is synonymous with the natural genesis of creativity. Kepra, the process of becoming, joins with Atum, the initial first self-creation, and transform into Atum Kepra. In reference to the elemental essence in the first moment after self-creation, Atum Kepra, the one produces two. Shu, which is male, air, Atum Kepra's breath, and his mate, Tefnut, female, water, Atum Kepra's moisture. From the union of Shu and Tefnut came the next pair, Geb, which is male and known as the earth, and Nut, which is female, known as the sky. Studying this philosophy further, we see that Geb and Nut were in a lover's embrace, procreation, and Shu, which is air, separated them to provide space for everything to come into being. When Nut was raised from the earth, Geb, the sun, Nut was pregnant. Atum Kepra gave light, heat, and sound energy to the earth. Geb and Nut then gave birth to a Sar, original father, a Set, original mother, Set, original destroyer, and Neb-Hetep, original mystic. A Sar and a Set gave birth to Heru, original child, resurrection of parents. These 5 Neteru gave birth to all living things, bacteria, plants, fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, including the human race in Africa. But what were the ancient African scholars describing when they wrote this Memphite text? Dr. George G. M. James cites 5 philosophical underpinnings to be understood by the Memphite theology. Number 1, water is the source of all and everything. Number 2, creation was accomplished by the unity of creative principles, Nun, Ptah, and Atum. The unity of mind, mental word, tongue, spoken word, and action, active word. All divine decrees came into being by the thinking of the mind and the commanding of the tongue. Atum was the intermediary essence, netter, in creation. So she was the mediator, or he was the mediator, I should say. She, he, which was neither him or her, was the sun or fire essence. The law of polarity, which is twinness opposites, governs the life of the cosmic universe. From philosophy number 2, the creation of the essences of pre-existing order and arrangement, came philosophy number 3, the essences of order and arrangement. When we look at the philosophical allegory of ancient Kemet, we see that these ancient scholars paved the way for concepts currently being taught in universities, microcosmic universe, universities today. So I see how he broke that down, universe cities today. They theorized that in the beginning there was only a watery matter, which is new. Within this matter, there existed the potential of everything and all. This is also known as potential energy. Potential energy is energy at rest, energy that has the potential to become. Energy can be transformed into other states. In this case, the potential energy became active. We call this kinetic energy. That's Kinetic energy. The ancient African Kemites called this transformative process Ptah. Ptah rose out of Nu as a mighty hill. In other words, Ptah took Nun through the process of becoming. Ma'at was the order by which Ptah used for this process. Tahuti, Ma'at's mate, was the wisdom that kept nature on the path and kept creation in the process of becoming, which in turn is Kepra. And we will, if I'm not mistaken, end the reading there. Is that correct, Kim Netter? All right. That was a beautiful reading. I know that that was a lot to ingest, but it was a beautiful reading. It speaks volumes to many, well, all of our lives, how we came into being and how we continue to resurrect. In other words, shed our skin, um, and become new. We are becoming, and we are becoming, and we are becoming every moment of every day. So, because of this philosophical allegory, as it states, we can look at our own lives and see how we're transforming every day by the moment. Even our physical selves, we can look at that did come into being. We were once babies. And before that, you could say that we were potential energy that could come into being. We came into being and we age as we grow our gray hairs, as we grow older, wrinkles, and things like that. We are simply going through life's process, preparing to shed our skin and move on to the next. And to that, I'd like to pass the torch on over to our elder and let him give us his take on this information that we read.
Well, well, if we come look at the information, it gives a breakdown for when we start out the cosmic universe, and like you said, the is cosmic universes cities is like cosmic university. That was a good thing that you pointed out. So it's important for us to recognize that, and the fact that when in the beginning, before the beginning ever existed, there was practically just water. So in the noon is what Atum got together with Ptah and was able to create and name these things. So it's important to understand where the naming came from. So uh, when we look at the past information that we have been given, and the fact that the European has made a story that confuses us, and they have given man the power to be in control of everything, but taking away that power from the God. So there was something. It's so important to understand when we understand allegorical, because when since I've been down here, I got um, captured into a picture of way they pat, emanate our ancestors, and the divinity. They make it seem so wicked and everything else, and and give the European the powers that our African scholars came together and created. So it's important for us to understand that. But I like the way Kaba put this together, and compared the frog and the snake, and understand how they develop in time, and the fact that the snake the snake eventually, as it dies, it sheds the skin, and then it resurrects itself and comes back, and it's new. And the fact that the frog takes 18 weeks, was it 18 weeks, and
I
that's
think
powerful.
it's 14, but that is definitely powerful. And something else that you mentioned just now, how the oppressor, or I tread lightly with my words, because we all know that how our history was dismantled and retold, and you know so I tread lightly with words, because it is not about hate, but just simple understanding of what you just said. Can you imagine, or we all know, how many Western ideologies look at the snake as evil? You know, how many ideologies look at frogs as evil too. You think about everything that is etched into our brain. Think about what frogs meant to little kids. Frogs are ugly. Kiss the toad and turn it into a prince. Just the concepts of these, like you say, allegorical and metaphorical ideas. When in the noon, when everything, there was nothing that exists, then, a tune, they get together, they create these things, first out of thought, then out of, spoken word, then into action. Well, if you look at the birth of, like you said, even a frog, that tap hole looks nothing like what it's going to be. It has no legs. It truly looks like a sperm. You know what I mean? Yet these things are taught to be evil, ugly. The frog is ugly. Kiss it and it turns into a charming, strapping prince. The snake is a evil, the devil, a tempt. But if you look at the life of these two beautiful creatures and see the allegory and the symbolic transformation in such a short time, like with the snake or a frog, if you just watch them, you could actually see the just like this states, the full circle of all life, and how we just continue to resurrect and to change and become. Yes, someone says we've got. So I'm glad there are some folks watching in on YouTube. So I'm glad that they were able to see that, and we do have some comments over here. If you can see those in the chat. So I do see that. Yes, Memphite theology, Nefer, is the foundation of many of the Abrahamic faiths. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and yes, we have. Let's see, Tatia. I'm hoping I'm not chopping up your name. And that might be Sinet Terra, I'm not sure, but yes, she was saying Professor Kaba. Dua Patah, great one. Yes, yes, yes. I'm just looking at some of those chats, but this is a really good one because it is really just capturing a glimpse of metaphorically the whole process of life. And you can see the human experience in any of those processes. If you can see it in the Kepra, you can see it in yourself. If you can see it in the snake, you can see it in yourself. If it lives, then what sets it apart from you and I?
and the thing is, when he talks about the naming ceremony that brought forth the uncreated creation into being. So, and when you look at Amen, Amen being the male was a concealed one, invisible to the eye. He was named by a tune to remain unseen, unheard, and untouchable, without smell or taste, but forever present. He is the spirit of science. And then you look at Amanet, which is the female, was the revealed one who could be seen by the eyes through all seeing eyes. The cosmic universe thinks, sees, hears, touches, smells, and tastes. It is through Amanet that human spirituality experienced her invisible taste, her invisible mate, Amen. She is the science of his spirit. Remember last week we were dealing with the whole spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important as we put these things together and understand when we say the Netaru, it's important that we understand that what you read about the noon being the male, the noonet being the female, and the ha being the male, and the hohet being the female, the ka being the male, the kaket being the male, and the amen being the male, and the amenet being the female. So that is the balance of the pairs of the Netaru. It's
Mm-hmm.
important to understand this cosmic universe. So as we sometimes be saying things now, I hope the understanding has come through for those that are following the Kemetic tradition, and understand how the Kemetic tradition has transformed into what we're dealing with. It's very important to understand.
Absolutely. And something else of critical importance that you mentioned earlier, too, speaking about Western ideology and different things, how everything is male, male, male. Now, we can even do one better, and that just tells you how corrupt it must be. And if you look around at the way things are imbalanced in our modern where we are here, you know, women are still trying to, equal this. Well, you can't have one without the other. If this was a male world, there would be none of us. If this was a woman's world, it would be none of us. You need the balance. Just like he said, I'm Annette and you can't you have the unseen and the seen. How would you know how would you know that there's an unseen if you have something to see? How would you know? How would there be a comparison if there weren't a counterpart? How could it even be possible, for anything?
That's true. It's, it's
So it's
important. It's important for us to deal with the patriarch and the matriarch society that this society has created. It's important to understand.
That's right. That's right. You are absolutely correct about that. And I think that the more and more we dig, I mean, many of us already have that balance within us, but the more and more we dig, the more and more we can recognize that the ideas of a one-sided sword, if you will, is false. Only one side of the cake is going to get cut, or whatever it is you're slicing. Himnet, I hope you all can still hear me. It looks like Himnetter, I think he had to just step off for a moment to clear his throat. Once again, another beautiful, beautiful, beautiful reading, and I definitely. Are you still able to hear me, Himnetter?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. Just want to make sure. Um, Another, of course, as always, beautiful reading. Our Sin Curtis was in the backstage, but I don't see him anymore. He was going to come on and give us an update on his project, as well as the Health and Wellness Committee that he is resurrecting, I should say. As we, I do have maybe a couple of announcements, but as we are starting to reactivate and get these communities and things up and running. St. Curtis has definitely been very, very outspoken about the things that he wants to do. He was really active in the health and wellness, so he's starting on getting that revamp, and hopefully later, if he doesn't come backstage, I want to encourage all of you all also. I am happy to share the StreamYard weekly. If anybody has anything, I do see there, St. Curtis is here. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad he's back. I do want to shout out the folks here, St. Curtis, as I bring you onto the stage. I'm just going to mute you for just a moment. There we go. I do see our Sin Nahisi there. And my Sin, we're gonna get together real soon, and I'm always messing your name up, but I got it, I think. Seba Orokoku Abulafia. I hope that I got that correct this time. But we need to wrap sooner rather than later. I want to us, school is about to start. We're going to be getting that about children's story time back together. The children's story page that I have is for diversity, but I would like to bring more African centered stories there and revamp the story page geared to more in my my way of living, which is African centered. I think that there's enough books for everyone else out there, and it's not to take away from that, but we need more African centered. We can write stories and tell them. They don't even have to necessarily be books that are already out there. So let's get together sooner rather than later. In case you all missed last week's meeting, it was very, very, very impromptu. It was wonderful. It was very, what do you call it when it's not so formal? It was really laid back. Folks got to, kind of talk about what they're doing. Some of the committees are really activating. We've got some newsletters, magazines coming out soon in our near future. Anybody interested in that, please get with Sin Nahisi. We've got St. Curtis about to activate this. Well, I'm not even going to say about, because we're not going to start with that about. Activating. He's activating that Health and Wellness Committee. We've got St. Jason doing some things. I cannot wait to see where this is going. I do want to mention the fact that for those of you who are at the meeting, and I will be getting those minutes out, it was so informal that it's easy to just kind of recap. Most of the members, well, actually all of the members who attended the meeting agreed and voted on all of us members putting forth a $10 monthly contribution. You all know Arham Netter and Tepe never likes to ask for money. So this is not something that's a requirement, but it's an ask. This was suggested by the members. We think that it would be so beneficial so that we can put a couple of dollars into our shrine so that we can continue to grow. And as we continue to grow, there will be other ways for the shrine to raise money and to donate. That information, there's going to be three ways that you can make the $10 contribution, and we're asking that those contributions be made prior to each monthly meeting. If you can't make the contribution and you wish to, reach out to us privately. This isn't a tell-all. Nobody needs to know nothing. Some people don't have, I know, even myself, some days I don't got a dollar to my name, and that's not a joke. So if you want to contribute and you can't, hit me up. Some of us will put an extra dollar for your $10. If you choose not to continue to contribute, it will not be a reflection. There will not be any kind of restrictions on your membership. You are a shrine member, you're a shrine member. You can contribute in other ways that you see fit, without it being monetary, if that's what you choose. But that information will be posted in the private page. And again, it would be simply a $10 contribution that we would be making to our shrine causes each month. Before bringing St. Curtis on, I do want to close out this portion of it with, so in the beginning, I said we're going to be trying some new things. We started with our usual, and we started with setting the feather. Well, we close. Now we are going to do what I'm going to say, balancing our scales. Mind you, these are not things that need to be answered to me, but it's thought-provoking as we go into the next week. So I'm going to grab my scale. I know I've showed you guys this before, my scale. I'm going to sit it down in my scale. This came from some bracelet I had that had a heart on it. So that's the little heart I have. I think it fell off a purse. And this is my, don't mind my little feather. It's old. It came from 2021 when I was in New York. It was a full feather that was placed in our hair. This is what I have left. I have them in my scales. So what we're going to do here is simply weigh ourselves. I want you to, if you do not have a feather, just imagine the feather being placed lightly on your heart. And take a moment to really think about it. Is your scale weighted? Is the heart heavier? Is it lighter, or is it balanced? It's not something you got to answer. Truth be told, mine is often not balanced. So let's just sit for a moment and think about that. Imagine the feather very, very gently placed on your heart. And think of, what thoughts are you carrying into this week from last week? What are you bringing into the next week? What's affected you? What if set in? And as you think about that, I want you to imagine yourself taking those pounds off, placing it on the scale, and asking Ma'at to balance it for you. How do we sustain Ma'at outside of these gatherings in your everyday life, with your families, in your workplace, with people in the grocery store, people on the street, people on the road driving? How can you remain steadfast and balanced so that this scale remains level? I don't have the answer, so I'm not about to pretend like I do. But it's a thought-provoking thing for each and every one of us that are stating the words Anke Ma'at, which means live in Ma'at. I pray that each of you live, breathe, rise in Ma'at, including myself. that whatever we do, we think in Ma'at, we speak in Ma'at, we act in Ma'at. And before we react, take 3 breaths and decide, is it true? Is it worth it? Is this action a response or reaction based on Ma'at? So you have to practice this when nobody's looking. It's like what we say in medical, your integrity when nobody's looking. We have to think, breathe, speak, and feel Ma'at when you're alone sitting on the toilet, as well as when you're in a crowded room of people. It's not just in our garbs and our colors of the day, it's really within our heart. Place that feather on your heart whenever you find yourself about to put your hands on somebody, about to say something against another person. I don't care what they did to you, it doesn't matter, because it's not even about you. It doesn't matter what they said to you, how they treated you. Put that feather on your heart and ask yourself, is stepping out of that balance really worth your peace? Because at the end of the day, when you go to bed at night, you got to be okay with you. It don't matter who's laying next to you. It don't matter if you've got your wife, your husband, your kids, your grandkids, money in your pocket. Are you okay with the person you are and the life that you've lived? Because you might not get a chance tomorrow to rebalance it, but today you do. Right now is all you have. So I encourage each and every one of you, including myself, every night place that feather on your heart and see how it feels before you close your eyes. If it's heavy, Saruj Ma'at, because that's what we're doing here. That's what it's all about. All of you know how I feel about you. I admire each and every one of you. I pray that you all have a wonderful week, grounded, based in Ma'at. May all your supposed to be's come to be. I wish nothing but greatness. I root for all of you. With that being said, I'm going to close out. Himnetta, do you have anything else to add to any of this? And then I'll put St. Curtis on for us. Himnetta Rosary, did you freeze up on us? Okay.
I think I did. I was just saying ditto. I concur with you just said.
And you know how my heart feels for you and Sinette Terra. So, you know, we stuck like glue now. It is what it is. So I appreciate all of your guidance, all of your, you know, you're a true Jagna to me. You know what I mean? I don't use the word mentor because if you look that up, an elder once told me to do the history, and I did. So I understand. But you're a true Jagna to me. You mean more than you guys could even imagine. You and Tara do. And I think that I'm very honored and blessed to just to be able to do this with you every week and to be able to come here and share part of ourselves with everybody else in the family, you know. So with that being said, St. Curtis, you are here with us. I'm going to unmute that now. And please chime on in and say something.
Right, Uncle Ma'at, Uncle Ma'at. I want to first thank you all for, creating another day of a great message of Ma'at. The reading was definitely affirming, inspiring, and it continues to support the way for us and awakening and reclaiming and restoring Ma'at and laying a foundation for our descendants to come, as well as honoring our ancestors of the past. So thank you. I just want to do a brief report. The our committee, Health and Wellness, we had our first meeting last week, and I want to thank Sen Borakoku and Sabyt for their participation, contribution. We definitely had a very nice, I guess the word synergy and synchronicity. We are working on developing the format for the support group. We went over a definition and understanding of what a support group is to make sure that, we're not doing counseling. We're not doing therapy. We're creating a safe space and place for members of the shrine to get support, get emotional support, get reinforcement and affirmations of their application of our Ma'atic principles in their daily lives. And we also, I want to make sure that you all know that we are going to be revolving around the reinforcement of our principles, our 7 principles of Ma'at, our 42 confessions, our theology stories, and that we are also going to be evolving. You know, we're going to be growing. You know, so bear with us. You know, we're just going to be doing this from our hearts, and be patient as we grow to try to maintain this safe space. But most importantly, we are going to have the space to involve, because we can't evolve and revolve without involve. So we need the shrine members to be involved. So I posted last night on our introduction to the shrine page. We decided we needed a poll of the members of the Shrine of Ma'at. And first things first is what day might be best for availability and accessibility of our shrine members. And then after we get that, then we'll work on looking at a best time. And while we're gathering that information, we are putting together the components of the format and how we will be opening and conducting and closing our support group. So that's pretty much the update. That's where we are. I can't predict a launch date just yet, but that's the work that we've done up so far based on our first meeting last week. So thank you for allowing me to share that.
So
To
I
us and Curtis.
say the same thing. Do us and Curtis. Keep up the good work.
But yeah, and to my brother and Sin Orikoku and Sinet Set Sekmet. Yes, yes, we shall. Can't do it without him and without y'all.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Much more. All right. Well, I guess we're going to be closing out today. Of course, anyone have any questions, or if anybody, any of our members, any Sunday that you'd like to come on and join us and share anything special, we'll definitely put you in here. You just reach out to myself or Himnet or Waziri. We're happy to definitely have you come on here. Any prayers, anything you need to say. Until next week, yes, definitely. I see you. I see you, Cortia. I got you covered. That again, the reading today was Spirituality Before Religion, and by Professor Kaba. We read pages 18 through 122. Is that correct? Let me see. If it's on Kindle, we read pages 117 through 121. If you have the actual physical book, it was page 118 through 122. We started at the second paragraph there. I'll also post that on the page along with the cover of the book, so you all will know where we're reading from. Okay. Yes. Love you, do. No problem. Sinet Cortia. Anything else to add, Himnet or Wasiri?
None. So I'll just take the time out and read the passage. It was definitely a very enlightening passage. So
Absolutely.
you can close us out with the Amasu. Amasu.
All right. Amasu Impanater, Sagsu, Imit Ra Impanater, Auta, Aura, Maketipa, Erura. Give yourself to the one most high. Keep yourself daily for the divine, and do it tomorrow just as you've done it today. Dwa R Hrw. May you all go forth in peace and have a ma'atical week. Much mirth to all of you.